Hello everybody and welcome back to another one of our raid boss videos. This time we are looking at the last boss of Castle Denathrius on normal, and that is Sire Denathrius. This is the proper cock and balls of a dungeon, this one. There's a lot going on, so I'll take it phase by phase. First phase you need to get to 70%, and what you want to do is you want to split your team into two. So not necessarily, obviously you've got to have a tank in each one, but it's not really necessarily what you've got to have healer wise or DPS wise. Basically, see on the side of our screen we've got those debuff on us, which started off at 4. Every time the boss does its cleansing pain, it will shoot towards the tank in a cone, and everyone who gets hit by it gets one of their stacks removed. And ideally you need to be on 2 or below before the boss reaches 70%. So but you need to do it in teams, and there's a reason for that in a minute. So what we recommend is the first tanks group take in 2 stacks of it, so they get their stacks down to 2, and then the third cast gets taken by the second tank, so they get down to 3, and then when they're on 3, the other team go back and take it to go down to 1, and then the other tank takes it to go down to 1 themselves. Because he does a pickup ability where it picks everyone up in the air, this one here, and it does more damage if the stacks are the same. So if you stagger the stacks, that damage would be a lot less, which is why you want to kind of alternate it. The cleansing pain itself, yeah, it just does a cone, removes a stack, but it does also spawn these adds, and these adds are so important. They may not look like much, but they do a shitload of damage. So for me, I save my I-beam, I save my glaive tempest for every single one that comes out. Even Metamorphosis at the pool. Apart from that, when he's doing those adds, he's also doing an ability called Feeding Frenzy, which chooses a few people. If you get Feeding Frenzy, you need to run out away from the group and then run back in afterwards, back to your positions. And apart from that, he does an ability called Ravage, if you can see. I think he does it when he reaches 100% energy, where he would just cut off 1/3 of the whole room. So as I've been talking, it's already cut off 2. So you really want to be at 70% before he does Ravage again. Otherwise, that's the whole floor gone, and it will pretty much be a wipe. But we're on 74% now, so we should be fine. Looks like everyone's got their stacks removed. Everyone's on at least 1 stack each, which is perfectly fine. I've got feeding time, move away whilst throwing my glaive at the adds. Finish off that last add, and we're about to go into the intermission phase, which is at 70%. He's trying to cast Ravage, but he ain't going to get it. There you go. So now he sucks everyone in, and now he pushes everyone to the back of the room, and you've got to make your way to the middle of the floor before that cast goes off. But you can't use any abilities. You can't glide, you can't use a roar, you can't charge. I think the Warlock Portal works. Any speed increases will not work. And you're slower the amount of stacks you have with that debuff. And if you're over 2, when you hit the floor, you instantly die. But we all made it, so then we're into phase 2. So in this phase, you fight in this pretty cool room downstairs. You need 1 tank on Sire, and 1 tank needs to pick up his sword. And you need to swap on the little taunt swap when Sire looks like it's beginning to hurt you. I can't remember the exact stacks because I haven't tanked this fight. But yeah, when it's starting to hurt, then you want to swap and blah blah. For DPS or whatever, you want to be killing these adds in the middle of the room, and the range want to be killing the adds on the side of the room, over on the platforms. I think my throw glaive might reach, but I don't know. I haven't really risked it. The tanks can help by that, by positioning the boss to face the tank, the adds on the side of the room, because every time he does his frontal cone ability, it will also put a debuff on the adds. For I think it's the Wrecking Pain it's doing there. So it's like frontal cone. It will also hit the ranged adds, so they will take more damage. So you just want to make sure it's aimed at them for when it's your job for the range. Anyway, apart from that, the boss does 2 other abilities. He does that's 3 other abilities. Impale, which is coming out now, where it will choose 2 people and it will throw its glaive or its blade towards one, towards the other, and then back to the boss, kind of like every other boss in this fucking dungeon. So just make sure you're not caught in between that. He will also do a ability called Massacre, which is these red lines that shoot across the floor. I've got the Impale now, so I'll run to the back. And I think that avoided everyone. I'm not too sure. Massacre, which is these red lines that come across the floor, which you're going to see now. You just make sure you don't get hit by any of them. They come out quite fast, but they're quite simple to sidestep. And apart from that, he also does an ability called Annihilation, where he suck everyone in, or Hand of Destruction, sorry, that's what it's called. It will suck everyone in. After a few seconds, it will explode, and anyone caught in it will pretty much die. Now, you can either run out of it, or you can help yourself with the mirrors around the room, because all of these mirrors are active. So if he sucked you in there, you just run for a mirror, and it would teleport you to the other side of the room. And once your Annihilation's finished, if there's still ads you need to clear out, you can just go back through the mirror, and then finish off the ads. You don't have to worry about the ad following you, because the ad will always, the boss will always teleport to the tank with aggro. So you don't have to worry about chasing the boss. You can run for a mirror, the boss will teleport to you, and then you can run back through. Here comes Massacre again, and this phase ends at 40%, and then you go into phase 3. But now, annoyingly, the boss has summoned 2 more sets of ads, and we've already marked a zone with the skull marker. So now we need to clear off these ads before phase 3 starts. There's no ranged ads at this point, it's just melee ones. There's a Hand of Destruction, which has sucked us all back in, annoyingly. But as we're going over this way, we don't really need to use a mirror. We can just run to these ads and get them down. Again, you can always position the boss to hit the ads with this cone to make these ads die a lot faster. But, I mean, it's normal, and we're pretty geared for this, so we're just melting them. Those 2 ads dead, Hand of Destruction again, but we're going over this way anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then we just finish off these ads, and then that will bring us into the final phase. Our tank got absolutely wrecked, but we have a battle res. Here's the Massacre as well. Avoiding that. I'm saving my I-beam because I can use it better on the boss, which is about to reach phase 3. And when it reaches phase 3, which is now, all the mirrors now become inactive. It cuts off the room in like a circle. So now you only have this tiny platform, and this is where you want a hero, because he now goes back to doing the Ravage ability, which he had upstairs, where it's going to block off 1/3 of the room every time he reaches 100%. So that is your DPS race, because if you don't DPS it quick enough, that's your whole floor gone. Apart from that, he's got one other new ability, which was that Fatal Finesse, where it chooses people with a circle. You just need to make sure you just run away and you're spread out from everyone. Apart from that, it does Shattering Pain, which is a knockback, and it can knock you off the platform. So when you see it coming, make sure you're angled where when you get hit, you're going to go backwards, obviously, but you're not going to get knocked off a platform. And it does all the other abilities. So Massacre is still in here, so you just need to make sure you're avoiding the red beams. And it's still going to do, there's a Shattering Pain again, so watch out for knockback. It's still going to do the Hand of Destruction, but it's going to suck us all in. There you go. There's no mirrors to get out of it now, so you just actually have to run out of it yourself. So you see the boss just teleported to the tank there. The tanks need to swap. I think there's around about 6 stacks on this phase here, just to keep the debuff down. But he's just reached 100 energy, so now he's going to do Ravage. So he's going to choose one part of the room to block off, and he's chosen conveniently the side I'm on. But it was alright, I managed to charge out. So 1/3 of the room is gone now, so now you only have a smaller bit of the room, but it's still doing all of those abilities, which is why it's a pure DPS race. So make sure you get knocked back, don't get knocked off, and don't get knocked into the red shit on the floor. And then here's the red circles on the floor you need to just spread out from. And then it's going to do Massacre and a knockback at the same time. So now you start getting these horrible overlaps. So here's the Massacre coming, but it's going to do knockback now. So you want to get knocked back, but not into these beams, which I was quite lucky there. But then as the fight goes on, I know it's only 10%, but as the fight goes on and he's covered up 2/3 of the room, you've only got a tiny little platform, he'll start doing his Hand of Destruction ability whilst doing the fucking lines from the Massacre and this ability, and it all gets a bit crazy. But if you've got the DPS, you can get it done pretty smoothly. It's just a DPS race at the end. But yeah, that's the fight. It's a wicked last boss fight. thank you very much for watching. We'll be doing all the other boss videos and all of the dungeons, so do keep checking back. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.